Welcome back to another episode of Stoppage Time TV. Another week, another episode. You know how it goes. All of the links will be there somewhere. All of that stuff like that. So, the streets. You want to know what they've been saying?
What's going on to me?
The streets are saying that you can't lose the final 6-0.
6-0.
This is the FA Cup yesterday, yeah. Dirty.
I don't.
It was embarrassing, to be honest.
I mean, that was predictable, man. That was predictable.
6-0 was predictable.
But a battering was obvious. A battering was obvious.
The reason why I'm confused about it is because they're just relentless. At what point do you stop? I mean, the clip afterwards of
raheemsterling.
Yeah. He's still coaching. The season's finished. You're still coaching the man.
And man got a hat-trick as well.
Yeah,
they gave it to two now.
Apparently,
They robbed the boy, innit?
But apparently part of that was
They don't listen
Guardiola
and
telling him, why did you kick it in?
Oh,
if it
why
was
did you
going
steal
in?
the goal? Oh.
Part of it was, but I mean, 6-0 in the final.
Yeah. I mean, what was the point of Watford even getting there? They should have just let Wolves
participation trophy.
They should have just let Wolves do it. Troy Deeney had his whole this is the magic moment of my life.
He had
all
the man from the jailhouse.
And they just ruined it for him. I feel sorry for him and his family.
Even the clip with Company and Deeney, I think that summed up for me where English football is and where City are. Because for you to walk past someone and go tough,
a captain to another captain.
Disrespect.
That is bullying.
I don't even think it's disrespect. I think it's just look, there's nothing you can do, bro. Just
accept
it. Just firm it.
Don't look at me then. Don't talk to me. Just move.
Just firm that elbow.
They are by far ahead. Well, the league would suggest otherwise with Liverpool and whatnot. But I mean, to win all the games they did on the last stretch,
14 wins.
They are.
Did you hear what Pep tried to say as well in the press conference afterwards? How he thinks his team being more active every 3 days and winning this treble is harder than him winning the Champions League.
I mean, to keep the players motivated, to keep going on and win the next one and win the next one. That is, as in, once you've just won the Premier League.
But harder than winning the Champions League, though. I'm like, if
it
was that easy, why don't you want it, big man?
Repetition is always going to be harder than the initial thing. I think when he wins, if he ever won the Champions League with City, he'll probably retract that statement. But to repeat what you've done in better fashion and just destroy everyone in your way, I understand why he would probably say it's harder. I remember at the beginning of the season, he said something, and I'm still confused when he had a press conference. He said, during pre-season, we've been exploring new ways to score goals. I said, hold on, what do you mean? What is this new? What do you mean new ways? What is that?
They're
How you?
Our teams are doing set pieces and that. Them man are exploring new ways.
New ways to score goals. I mean,
it's also on lines of having analysis of how the season went, to review it and see how you can improve. I think from the first season, one of the things I came across was that City lacked in the second ball.
Yeah.
From the first season.
What, the first season when he was talking about you don't do tackles?
Exactly.
But he didn't do tackles this year as well.
Yeah,
it was lowest, didn't it? But he was number one in every other
second
stat.
ball. Yeah, he worked on a second ball, and then that obviously he must be implementing a second season, and now second season he must review it again to see where he is.
But they must be juicing as well, because I saw a clip of David Silva pressing a man.
Ain't juicing.
But Silva's always had
in
a
the
little bit of
Champions League.
about him.
In the Champions League, they always get exposed. So for me, I still think they've got things to improve on, and that will be the focus next season.
But I feel it's
the way they've bullied, I think this year, like you lot are saying, is different class. But
I feel like one of the issues.
But both Champions League, they lost to a Premier League team. That's what I don't get.
I think it's solely tactical. But I don't think
what in the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's the application of.
It's his away approach. He thinks Pep thinks.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah, Pep literally thinks you score, I score. You can't.
We
know you can outscore anybody, but them away goals, Spurs went through on away goals.
So we're saying what Guardiola doesn't understand the away goal rule.
Listen,
wait, is that what you're saying? No, but to be fair, if you look at it, that's very plausible.
Away from home, he
always goes out on away goals.
But we said it last week, where you can have your philosophy. But when it comes to cup games and Champions League games, you need to have that backup plan. For me,
but
that's where he lacks.
always goes out on away goals.
It's not always on.
No, but most of the time, you think about it, it's that his team. He's like you said, you score, I score more.
Yeah.
And
you can't play
the away games. You know, sometimes it doesn't go his way. Essentially, if there was no away goals, like a league cup game or whatnot,
City will probably be okay.
they would have probably gone through.
Yeah, but like you can't even like last season when they went to
Liverpool.
Anfield.
And got bounced.
Liverpool live for you score, I score. So they would do that better than anybody.
All day.
When they went to Anfield, they went all out, and then what happened? It got bad. Was it 4-1?
4-1. Man City Lord of the Max. 16 for 16. I heard that.
Honestly, like, so I think it's just a tactical thing. But once they brush up on that,
they got bounced as well in that as well.
Like in the against Liverpool.
Tired
but that's fine
margins,
margins, innit? But then they went for it. They had to be going for it. And Liverpool, what? They ended up winning. Liverpool ended up winning the second leg as well, right?
They won both legs.
Salah and Firmino scored.
They won
I
both
think
legs.
what's telling is there seems to be this kind of obviously they've told him you need to win Champions League, but there seems to be this kind of continuing plan that he's got where he's got this domestic success now. The team's done better than they did last year, and in his back of his head it's like, okay, now we need to go to that next step. So we don't know, maybe next year it's not going to be you score, I score, it's going to be I'm going to score everything. They may have to,
it's like a process almost.
It's clear that there is a process, and it's funny we mention that because an integral part of that process, not just for Guardiola but for Man City, is departing from them now, which begs the question, what happens now? Because I think Vincent Kompany epitomizes what Manchester City's been.
I find it mad that they're letting him go, man.
He's literally the end of the old guard. I think now that
Silva's on
I think
the way
Silva's left.
the last one.
Silva
He's gonna
will
be
probably
slowly
leave as
creeped
well.
out.
Aguero's
Aguero's still there
I
as
think
well.
now it'll be sort of.
I even think that Aguero might be phased out. We saw it a few seasons ago where Jesus came.
Yeah.
Aguero then,
Jesus was hard in the final.
Exactly.
True.
Aguero came, changed how he played and whatnot, but I wouldn't be surprised if they buy a striker from somewhere or make someone a centre forward and Aguero becomes this impact player like Kompany has.
Yeah.
Because he does seem to phase his players out, gets a new shape.
Plus, Aguero always looking for a move back home. He was wanting.
He's always said that he's going to do it, but
Independent.
maybe Guardiola
You see the
makes
difference. You see the difference with Pep though. Like you see the impact of winning because he has so many star players, and he has people like Mahrez sitting on the bench, whatever. But when they come on and when they play, they have impact. With Kompany, like he's obviously told him you're not going to be involved that much this season. But when you do your be thing, ready. Like the different, you don't hear no complaints from their players. There was a little bit of whispers that Mahrez was unhappy, and what happened? Like, final game of the season, he scores the decisive goal.
I don't think you're going to get much complaints.
Exactly.
I think if City now start to drop off in their second and third, those 60, 70 million signings they got sitting on the bench aren't going to be all too happy. The only time people will keep quiet is when they're still winning.
But do you know a major part of that as well? Like what people have to be honest and look at is, if a man in my position is balling out, I can't be unhappy. I don't deserve to play. You can't tell me Mahrez deserved to play this season ahead of the people that were playing in front of him.
Yeah,
that you cannot argue it. If Sterling is scoring the most goals he's scored in his life, you can't even say, you know what, can I get 5? No, you can't get 5 minutes. Man's balling out. So in that sense, it's probably a bit of everything.
Here's one question though, I would say. I mean, we've said, Pep set a new standard in the Premier League or anything. Would you say if Pep left or whenever in 2 years' time and he didn't win the Champions League and he kept getting knocked out in similar fashions he has been, has his time at City been a success?
It's definitely
been a success.
It's been a success, but what people need to hear out is if he doesn't win the Champions League soon, he's personally going to feel it, because when he went to Bayern, they came off just winning the Champions League. So bear in mind that they announced him halfway during the season, was it?
Yeah, something like that,
halfway through the season.
City as well, man.
Again, he's been announced halfway through the season. The manager. Did he win the league that year that he came in?
I think so. Yeah, they won the treble. Wasn't it?
They won the treble that day.
Bayern.
No, I'm talking about when he came to City.
What
did City do that year that Pep was about to come in?
They won the league. That was
there you
Pellegrini.
go.
No, they didn't. Yeah, Leicester.
But they won a trophy. They won a trophy.
They won FA Cup. FA Cup, I think.
They won a trophy.
They won something, I remember.
But that was
League Cup or FA Cup.
Again, he's come in. There's been winning already. You've come in. The thing that they really want you to push on and do, you haven't done it again.
Yeah, but I feel like I think it's self pressure from Pep. I don't think there's outside pressure.
Harsh,
if Pep
but
doesn't win the Champions League, he
himself.
doesn't win the Champions League.
But he's going to keep
this whole narrative.
No one has spent the money he has spent. And when I say this year, you lot can bring up Sir Alex Ferguson, Ancelotti, and all these other managers. No other manager has spent the funds he spent. So I get we're crediting him for all the brilliant football he's bringing and the trophies he's winning. Yeah. But the main big one, if he don't win that by the time he leaves City, I'm sorry, I'm looking at it as a black mark.
Was Jose's time at Chelsea a failure? He didn't win Champions League.
He definitely should have done more. He definitely should have done
He
more.
won-
But the
I
fact
don't
that he,
think so.
for me, the
I don't
fact that
think
he
so.
won the Champions League with Porto and Inter gives Jose his stripes regardless, because
But-
they were lesser teams that shouldn't have
to
won.
be
But
fair,
why?
you tell
But
you
the thing is, like, yeah, because we're talking about all this inflated fees now. But why do people act like Ferguson wasn't breaking records for Rio Ferdinand?
He
wasn't
was.
breaking
He
records
was.
for Rooney. Wasn't breaking records for Yap
He broke
Stam.
the
But
Tran-
not
he
spent
broke it in
nearly
5
a
years.
billion.
Yeah, but you
A
can't. Yeah, because of
billion.
inflation, bro. Inflation, 30 million for a centre back then. That's ridiculous.
Tell
It
you
was-
what,
it was much different.
Ferdinand.
Come on.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, we're looking at the financial part of it. Again, I don't even think it's that. It's like what you said in terms of, if you look at Guardiola, right? This is someone that is winning trophies and dominating supposedly the best league in the world very easily, and he can't replicate that to the European stage. For him, it's kind of like, how can I be this dynasty in football and everyone's emulating what I'm doing, but I can't win the big one? I think for him, it's gonna hurt him if he can't win another Champions League. I think it's personal.
it's
It's,
just
not
passion,
because
that's all
it's
I'm
not
saying.
because of
Yeah, yeah,
anything
But
else.
you can't.
it's
But you
like,
can't
he's a
please everyone, man. You
perfectionist.
can't please everyone.
I'm
When-
not saying
when
it's
Real
not.
That's the thing.
Madrid-
That's
when
the
Real
thing what you
Madrid
said.
done-
If
Real
you're a
Madrid done-
perfectionist and you don't win the biggest thing, you're gonna be pissed off.
But Real
Yeah,
Madrid
yeah.
done 3 Champions Leagues in a row, and people still say, "But where's the La Ligas? Where's the?" Bruv, you can't please everyone,
You're
bro.
right.
100%.
But
No,
it's
what
but
the hell?
it's going
Get
back
what
to
I'm saying. I'm
my-
saying it's about him. It's not about what everyone else is. I just think for himself, if he wasn't to win the Champions League, he'll be like, you know what? Wow, how have I not managed to do this? He a perfectionist.
That's all
I
I'm
th-
saying.
I-
goes
I-
up.
I think
I don't
I think
think
it's
City will
back
be
down to
angry.
his process that you
And
said.
what do you think?
It's
And
back
what do
down
you
to
think
his process.
Ferguson thinks in the 26 years that he only won 2?
This is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
When you are,
That's a failure.
when
He
you
should have
are
won
the
more,
best,
bruv.
What do you want to do?
That's a failure.
He
But
should
it's
have
not-
won more. How many teams has he built?
Okay, all right, Fuad.
He got to many
Okay,
finals
so
or
how
whatever,
many?
but you're telling me
so how
Ferguson
many-
shouldn't have won
So
more
how many
Champions
managers?
Leagues?
How many
And he should
managers?
have won more.
He's only
I-
lost one.
He should have won more.
How many
In
managers-
20
No, he lost-
something
he lost
years,
2.
Alright.
He should have won more
Fuad.
Champions Leagues, Fergie.
Alright,
Yes.
So how many
That's not
managers?
crazy.
How many managers have won more than 2 Champions Leagues?
Ancelotti
Yeah, okay.
in,
And
in,
Zidane.
in the space of how long?
In-
I'm just
Zidane
saying.
and
It's,
Ancelotti.
I'm just saying when you
So
spend
now
that
wait,
much
wait.
money and you lot are telling me he's a trailblazing great manager that he is. I get that. I credit him for that. But now the next step, I'm saying, well, what's so hard about
No,
asking
no.
the next
No
step?
one's
Definitely-
saying that, but I'm
definitely
saying
next
that
step
you're
will-
trying to indicate. You're trying to indicate
You-
that it's
you
a
asked,
failure.
would it be
bro.
a
It's not a
failure?
failure.
I'm not. No, it's
not a failure. You
No,
asked
that's
black
what you
marks.
asked.
No,
It's
definitely
not-
next
Black
step.
mark next.
Definitely next
You
step has to
asked,
be
is there a
Champions
failure?
You're
League.
not telling me if you don't win
Definitely
the
next
Champions League,
step.
it's not a black mark next to his name.
So did he spend big at Barca and did he spend big at Bayern?
He had Messi at Barca.
But he didn't spend at those.
He
two
had
clubs. So why
Messi
is
at
everyone
Barca.
calling him a
That's a
fraud?
cheat
Because
code
that's
right
it.
there. That's a cheat code. I'm sorry, Messi's the cheat code. And
I
after
think-
Messi, what happened? Bayern,
So
you took
prior
over a
to
treble-winning
Guardiola
side.
coming in, where did Barcelona finish in the league?
What?
Before he came in and became the full-time manager, where did they finish in the league?
People are acting like Messi was just.
Barcelona.
People are acting like
So?
Messi was just born with Pep. Messi wasn't.
umbilical cord.
Exactly, Messi wasn't born with Pep. You know, Messi existed before Pep, and Messi wasn't winning Champions League before Pep. That's what I'm
we knew
saying.
Messi was going to be one of
But
the best
was he,
ballers.
did Messi win the Champions League the
We
season
knew
before
Messi
Pep
was
came?
going to be one of the best ballers.
You know what? On this
And
point,
when did
there's
that
a point
impact
here,
come?
yeah?
Wait. So
Go on.
when you guys credit, you guys say with Pep and Sterling, the impact that he came and made.
Crazy.
Now go and look.
He
at
done the same
now
to
look at-
Messi.
Exactly. So
done
why
the
do you
same.
Why do you guys just try and
So he
discredit
has-
it? That it's just Messi?
He's got the ability
Not
to
just
do
Messi.
that to the players.
I'm saying that team I give him credit for, but since then, why does everyone always go back to Barca? I'm talking after Barca.
So he didn't set records at Bayern, though. He didn't.
Bayern, what?
He never set records.
What records?
Please.
Please name
I won't
records.
lie.
records.
Certain man
Getting snubbed out by
on
Atletico,
this table
Madrid,
can set
Barca.
records at Bayern. I can't lie.
Boy.
Certain man
So
could
why isn't Kovac doing it?
because he's not
Why
certain
isn't
man.
Kovac doing it? Why
Kovac
didn't
is
Ancelotti do
levels.
it?
He's
Why
not
didn't
certain
Ancelotti
man.
do it? Why didn't
He's
Kovac
not
do it?
certain
telling me
man.
Pep is levels, and I'm like, he spent $1 billion and he's done all these great things now, 100 points or whatever, domestic treble. Where's the Champions League? big
Yeah,
man?
that's fine, but you can't
Where's
say
the
it's a
Champions-
failure.
that's all
Don't
I'm
say it's a
asking.
failure.
I'm saying it's a
Don't
black mark.
indicate it's a failure.
Black mark next
All
to
right,
his
fair
name.
enough. So
What-
then every
what-
manager
one-
has black.
look,
Every manager has a
every-
black.
no,
black
They
mark.
ain't
every
spent $1 billion.
manager, yeah.
Every manager
Every
ain't
manager
spent
that
$1
wants to
billion.
do best.
One thing
No,
though.
Jose
yeah.
ain't spent
Yes,
$1 billion.
yes,
Go on,
yeah,
West.
Jose-
Go on, West.
Jose
At
was
United.
Jose was the first manager to spend
At
£1 billion.
United,
You know.
at one club.
So you think
At
Pep
a
spent $1
single
billion
club.
at City? Has he spent $1 billion at City?
Please pull this.
Yeah, let's put it up.
Please
Put it up. He spent $1 billion at City.
Let's look
Let's
at the
see.
numbers.
He spent $1 billion.
You lot are talking.
But you go look at it. You
Go
go
look
bro,
it up.
Yeah,
bro. You
billion
go
at
look.
City.
Yeah, but you look at the inflation as well, as Cam said.
Inflation. What is this? The recession?
Yeah, of course, bruv. Of
What are
course.
we doing? Accounting.
So
Gee,
Pep,
well-
look,
No,
look,
of course,
look what it
bruv.
says.
It's
Let's
evident,
look,
bruv.
look what it says.
Go on.
Pep Guardiola's career. What did it say? Pep Guardiola's career spending hits 1 billion after Man City Mahrez deal, and you're telling me he spent 1 billion at City? Shut up, man.
has he spent
at
City, Like, please? man.
Look, it's
Okay. Oh, how much is City? How much is City?
60 mil the third season.
No, it's not. It's 185 first season, 276 second season, 63.
Oh,
No,
that
third
could equal
season.
billion.
Don't piss me.
Is that
What
equal
are you
a billion?
looking at, bruv?
This guy's doing it in naira or something, fam. Is that a
Where are you
billion?
getting this from? What is this?
What do you mean? What is
I'm
it?
looking on Twitter.
But look at this guy.
Excel sheets on Twitter. Get out of
So he
here.
said a billion.
Look at transfer market. I need
Get outta here,
official
man.
documents.
Get out
None
of
of
here,
these
bro.
tweets and Twitters.
If I get transfer market and you're wrong,
No
you know
way.
we can't edit this.
Go on transfer market.
Bruv, he hasn't spent $1 billion. I don't know why you're trying
He
to.
has spent absorbent amounts to the point where he should be winning Champions Leagues on the regs.
All right.
And you're like acting like,
But
oh,
but
this
yeah.
is enough.
So
No one's saying it's enough, but it's not a failure, bro. Every manager has a black
Not
mark,
once did
bro.
I say it's a failure.
But you
I'm saying
indicated
it's
that.
a black mark against his name.
And so
He
every
does not
can
win
you
the
accept that
Champions League
every can you accept that every manager has
No.
a black mark?
No.
So who doesn't have a black mark?
I'm not looking at that. We're talking about
So who
Pep
doesn't
right
have a
now.
black mark?
I'm focused on Pep.
So then what is the black?
Tunnel vision on Pep right now.
That doesn't make sense,
I'm looking
bro.
at Pep.
Every manager has a black mark on their name, bro.
They can if they want to, but I'm not looking at them right now. I'm looking
I
at
think
Pep.
I think look, Pep also wants
Go
to
riding Pep,
Pep-
like he's the greatest.
No,
thing
but check
since
this,
sliced
check this,
bread. I'm
check
not
this.
having it.
For what? Check this,
What's
yeah.
the spend, please?
You ready
Yeah,
for
check this
April
one.
1st?
Yeah. So I think also Pep wants to have this. He loves to have his own presses
That's
put in.
everything, innit?
So at Bayern, when they done the free,
So simple
when they done
mathematics,
treble,
this
he
cannot
came
be
and changed the
100%.
whole system. Like he wants it his way.
I don't care
Yeah.
about system.
So meaning what he likes to do, he likes to have a process where he wants to put his mark on there. So next season, I agree that he needs to actually perform in Champions League. In fact, win it. So I agree with that for sure.
He's been
Alright,
has to.
embarrassing.
He has to.
These guys, who are these
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
bro?
Yeah.
Who are these
Yeah.
guys?
Hold on.
These guys think they're
Let's-
Khaldun and them,
let's-
man.
No,
there,
but-
fam.
no,
They
no,
think they're
but
the
for-
Saudi
for
owners
what-
and
Wait,
that.
let's go for
Wait,
it. because they
pretty
think-
much is.
Let's go for it because-
Pep has treated
because-
football like it's FIFA, and
Alright,
you lot
go on,
aren't
read it,
acknowledging
read
it.
it.
Let's
Read
go
it.
for
Man
it
goes out
because
by 70
people
million
are
whenever
doubting
he wants
optimism.
to. No one
Alright, let him
acknowledges
say-
it.
alright, he's got the
Oh,
stats.
Pep's
People
done
are
this.
down
He's got the
optimism.
stats. Bro, he's
so
got an unlimited
I'll
bank.
go
He
to their
better
stats.
do this.
Up to 4. Let's
He
go
better
for it.
do this.
61 plus 58 plus 51
I'm
plus
talking
50,
whole spend.
47, 45,
Man's giving me
36,
addition. Have I got my
28,
calculator?
27,
So does it equal
23,
my
calculator
16,
out?
16, 10,
Man's reading
4,
out
4,
numbers.
4. There's no way you can tell me this is 1 billion.
How much? How much? Give me a number.
This guy's
I
on-
gave it
this
to
guy's
you.
on crack.
Man, am I taking snooze before we
Wait, six. Listen, it's just not $1 billion. That's
It's
it.
not a
How
billion.
much?
That's the end,
not a
man.
billion.
That's
The
the
guys
end.
are avoiding the
We'll
number.
revisit it. We'll revisit it. But that's it. It's not a
700
billion.
million.
All right.
Do you say 700?
700 million.
Equate
So
to
how's that a
It
billion in
don't
his time at
matter.
City?
Is 700 million not enough to win the Champions League?
So now you
No,
switched
no,
it from
no,
a
no, no,
billion.
wait.
to-
Hold
you
on.
Is
pulled
it
up
not
to
enough?
my
He's
to
friend.
win
talking
the
Spurs,
I'm
innit? He's-
talking
Wait, hold
money here. You lot
Okay,
are trying to
so
deflect. I'm talking money.
I would like to
How
point
much?
out.
Okay,
Is
Pep's
it-
time at City is a failure.
I would like to point out
Now-
that
now
this
it's
is
all
why
Pep's time at City is a failure, fam.
this is why teams don't win trophies because they don't understand how football works and they don't know how things happen. Like you can't say 1 billion then say 700, bro.
I'm talking
That's the
money.
that is
you know
that
the
is
point I'm trying to make, and you're
What's
trying to
wrong
get
with
into
Amanda?
the small. You know the point I'm trying to make here.
That is-
You know the point I'm trying to make
mil.
here.
That's
Alright,
5
alright,
players in
fair
it.
enough.
point I'm
Alright,
trying to
That's
make.
a whole new backline.
What's the point I'm trying to
You're
make?
trying to
Oh
make
my
the
word.
point you're trying to make is that Pep's a failure at City.
Alright.
So he's a failure.
Back to your original
Alright,
question.
Fair,
which
fair
was,
enough, mate.
Is his time at City a failure if he doesn't produce them the Champions League? No, it's not a failure. But for him, it would count as an individual failure and potentially a black spot against his name. That's my personal
Which
opinion.
every manager has. That's what I'm
Exactly.
trying to say.
There you go.
Thank you.
And back to the Premier League. That's the end of the domestic season at that level. But it's been actually one more thing on Pep. Actually, I find it very interesting that once he's gone, what is the next cycle of football?
You have to wait and see.
Have we seen it? But it's not become a big thing yet because you have to remember each manager brings this sort of thing that people copy. That Mourinho brought this whole
Mourinho brought in,
pragmatic
yeah,
football. Guardiola's brought in press version 2 now. Like every manager seems to bring something for them and dominates for a while. So once Guardiola says, "Okay, that's it, I'm done," where does football go from here? Not every
Who
team
knows?
got play
Every player in academies are black nowadays. So it's probably just gonna be black players with energy. Honestly, bare Ndombiles, bare Yaya Toures, and that. Honestly, every academy is black. Have you even seen Barcelona's academy? It's got bare black Cameroonians and stuff. Like it's
They've been there
football's-
for a few
It's
years.
going
but
crazy. It's going crazy, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, Premier League in terms of players to review the season. In terms of goalkeeper, who would you say the best goalkeeper has been?
I would say for me Edison, and that's due to I think consecutive 2 seasons consistency.
No, but
And
this season.
Even this season, just
Yeah.
showing it like from his game to even distribution as well. Apart from his goalkeeping,
Yeah.
you know. And I don't think if you compare, because we've seen the two teams. The team of the year has been mixed with the Liverpool and City majority, but City's defense I think it's much weaker than Liverpool's, which evidently shown. And I think Edison, you know, for me.
I agree with Edison because he snuffs out so much danger. Like, you have to proper carve City open to get a chance because if you try a little through ball,
Did you see yesterday?
He's on it
When it came
He's-
across,
Yeah,
like, timed it off.
He is sweeper keeper.
He's
I'll
like
give
on
him
it,
that.
and
He's
obviously
sweeper
as
keeper.
Wes said, the distribution as well, and they only conceded one less goal than Liverpool as well. I know Alisson got the clean sheet record, but
21. Is it?
I think Edison just affects the game so much. He's so intimidating. His distribution, bro, like, just the way. You see how big he comes out. He's literally like what Neuer used to be.
Yeah.
Like he's ridiculous. So for me, he's the keeper.
What are you saying?
Still.
Same, to be honest. Same reasons.
Yeah.
Not much difference.
I can't even argue. I mean, Alisson did get 21 clean sheets, so you have to give him credit. But
Yeah.
in terms of
Aubameyang got golden boot, bro.
in terms of Liverpool's back four, I don't think that changed as much as Man City does this
yeah,
season.
that's
I
the
think
truth.
they had four. City had 4 different centre back combinations, and that happened. And they played a lot. So when you're a goalkeeper and you're going through that, I mean, that is kind of your defensive unit.
Their
So
left backs change a lot as well.
left backs change a lot with the injuries. Right back's been pretty stable, but I mean, the full backs Liverpool have always been the same. And then apart from Gomez being injured, it was always Van Dijk and Matip, and Lovren might get like a little
Couple
like,
games,
cameo.
yeah.
So I think, yeah, like you said, Edison's been intimidating. He's a good shot stopper as well. I don't think he gets enough credit. He did get packed in by Townsend. We have to put that out there.
Yeah.
That was-
goal
No, that was
So that's
amazing. That was
ridiculous.
that's
and
what
that
I
goal
mean.
should have won goal of the season.
Who won it?
Company.
See why football is just, you know what I'm saying?
Listen,
See
that
why
goal was
football is
worthy a
shaky.
goal of the season as well, man.
What's that?
The company one.
Yeah, Townsend's
Townsend one was much better.
That goal
That's
is
that's a
that
volley.
goal is mad.
I ain't mad at it.
That is mad. Nah,
You
nah,
heard
that's
the
sentiment.
from the ball
Sentiment.
when he did it.
That is a mad goal.
Townsend does one of them every season.
Exactly. He's got in the locker. He's got
He's a Spurs legend though.
We're not even
If he had
entertaining.
a
Is he
legends
not?
match, he'll play.
Exactly.
Let's stop running.
Just
Him,
Okay.
next,
Him,
next, please.
Gazaniga.
What the hell?
Wait. Listen.
Gomez, keeper.
Who else will
Gary
play in
Lineker,
there?
bro.
Gary
Friedel.
Lineker,
Friedel.
Klinsmann,
Yeah,
Friedel,
yeah.
Wait. Timo
Didier
Tiny.
Zakora,
Timo
Timo
Tiny.
Soldado.
Howlers.
Oh man, what we said? Defender.
That's easy, man. Of course, it has to be
Virgil.
DVD.
Go on. Yeah, Virgil. No
But
question.
Laporte has been underrated this season. Mad underrated.
Yeah.
I think he's. If it wasn't for Van Dijk's impact, no. If it wasn't for Van Dijk's
Talk your shit,
impact,
bro.
that he made, like if you saw Liverpool before and after,
Yeah.
I think Van Dijk and Laporte have had similar seasons. Honestly, I think Laporte has been unreal this season, man.
He's been overlooked by the
Unreal
French
season.
team as well. He doesn't-
Yeah, he
it's
hasn't
a bit
even been
weird.
capped.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, though. Are we not including fullbacks? Because Trent and Robertson as well.
That's where
They
my
deserve.
thinking
I
was
would.
going.
I
in
would say
terms
they
of
should probably get ahead of
Trent.
Laporte if there was a sort of top three. I'd put them two easy. They
The whole
put up, they
Liverpool
put
back
up,
three, that just shows that they're a patterned team. Laporte is on.
that is.
I'm
a
not
unit.
saying Laporte is on
That
his
is a
own,
unit, but them two have put up assist numbers like a midfielder.
dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's
Dumb.
what 12
Dumb.
and 13 or
12
12 and
dumb.
11, whatever.
I think
it is.
third
It's
in
crazy.
the
That's
list.
better than most wingers, in the Prem.
Bro, that's probably like the whole of United's attack combined. Honestly, I'd rather. Yo, listen. It's ridiculous. But me, it has to be VVD, but Laporte, close second for me.
Sure. We man saying the same as well.
Yeah.
I'd
The
say.
thing is, it's so hard. Like you couldn't even argue elsewhere because this guy's come in and everyone has said this has been the best centre back we've seen for years. Like he's just
Throughout
been
the
immense.
season as well. Like,
And it's been
do you know what I mean?
consistent. He's not messed up once. The only time he's messed up has been on international break.
No, he did a little back pass against. He messed up against Fulham. He did
He
something
did.
against
Oh,
Fulham.
what? When Babel scored?
Yeah.
Okay, he did. Yeah, but Babel's his boy. Like, he has to help the man. there. So
Settling him.
he did
Give him a
that.
little
The only
confidence
other one
boost.
I can remember is when he didn't go in for the tackle against Newcastle. That's it. This season, like you can't.
But he's had so
You
many.
can
other
pick him
good
out.
seasons, man.
Yeah.
You people have tried to pick out the small things. Him against, I know it's not Premier League, but when he told someone to come help him, Mark Messi.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do as a centre half. You're not supposed to be up there.
Take control
People
of the
are
It was
trying
situation.
so
nitpicking. It was
hard.
nitpicking
Yeah.
still.
So hard, but he's just been like, when you're good, you're good. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I can't argue against. But yeah, the fullbacks have been them assists
Too
are
good.
crazy, man. This is the interesting one now. Midfielder, best midfielder.
Are we
What do we
talking now
class
DM or
midfielders
C?
now? Because
It can be as long as it's not a winger. It can be a
What does that
centre.
mean? Because wingers are midfielders, man.
No, wingers are.
But we
wingers-
got. We're
they're
doing.
Because
now wingers are playing
as well,
forward as
innit?
well.
We've got
Yeah.
best wingers. So in terms of midfielder, it'll be holding mid, centre mid, attacking mid. Someone that's in the midfield of the pitch in that little square.
Yeah. Pogba.
Explain it.
Nah,
elaborate.
joking. I'm joking. Nah, for me, but it's hard because where does Bernardo fall into? Is he a
Bernardo
winger
for me, I
or
would
is
say,
he a
yeah.
centre mid? Or he's played both, so I'm just gonna go
I'd agree
Bernardo.
with you. I'd even
I'm
put
going
Diego
Bernardo.
Jota ahead of
who?
Pogba.
Josh is not a centre mid.
Bro, he's an
what's
attacking
wrong with the
mid.
man
This
there?
guy's on. This guy's
He's a
buzzing.
centre
Buzzing.
forward.
Let's go back to again the position.
He's a
He's a
centre
number
forward.
10 who plays behind Jimenez. Let's not do
Him and
this.
Jimenez
This is
play
what I
up
meant
top
by who's a
together.
midfielder.
Yeah.
Guys hate Pogba so
This
much
is-
they're
this is
comparing
what
him
I
to
meant by
Jota.
who's a midfielder. What do you
What's
mean?
going on now, man? Now you're
What?
gonna start comparing Aguero.
Has Jota
to-
not had a
you're gonna
better
start
season?
comparing
Has
Aguero
Jota
to-
not had a better season?
Nah, he
You're an
hasn't,
angry,
though.
you're an
Nah, he
angry
hasn't.
guy.
No, he hasn't.
You're a very
No, he
angry
hasn't.
person.
Anyway, my vote is Bernardo.
You're a
Silva.
very angry
Yeah, likewise.
person.
This guy's nuts. Yeah, mine's Bernardo.
Pogba, yeah, nah.
What has been
That
crazy-
pass yesterday from Silva, you see that for the second goal.
Yeah, he's mad. He's mad. But what's crazy for me is what I don't think the Brent's completed 19 games yet, and he's still been head and shoulders better than most midfielders in the Premier League.
Got mad a match as well.
Ridiculous. He shouldn't have got man of the match yesterday, but
No, he shouldn't have. But in general, when he's been on the pitch, the small times you've seen him this season, he's been
so
He's been
he's been
effective.
unplayable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
Only
he.
towards like the last couple of games, I'd say
Yeah,
most of the
I agree.
season he was looking very average. when
Yeah.
came
No,
on,
but he
like,
was still
injured.
he was still
But he was coming up with the
Making
games
things
almost won as well. So
That's what I mean, though.
he's played injured for the whole season, and he still looked very good. There's certain centre mids. There's centre mids at my team
Pep wanted to kill that guy.
that are running in circles.
Hey.
Certain
Boy.
man like Cover, innit? Cover, Barks.
Certain Madrid players are.
Jorginho, 5,000 passes.
But you
How many
looking at his
assists?
Forget his assists.
How many
though.
key passes?
Yeah, I don't know about
even
How
that.
many- how many passes into the final
Louis
third?
got more than that.
Nah, but yeah.
You know, if
Bernardo-
Spurs lose the Champions League final, yeah, I
don't
want you to shout the same
care.
way.
Jorginho
Because you're
is
doing a lot of
dog
shouting
shit.
today. You're
Dog
doing a lot of
shit.
shouting
I
today.
don't care.
What about Harry Winks and these
Man,
man?
was dog shit. Harry Winks, dog shit. I'm honest. You lot can't be honest.
Okay,
about
so
your own players.
so what happens now with the dog shit? What are you gonna do with it?
What am I supposed to do with it?
No, what are you gonna do next? It's dog shit. How do you rectify that? What are you gonna do?
I ain't know. Go ask Poch. Yo, Poch. Holla at me. We'll sort something out.
Definitely not going to you first, boy. Definitely not going to you. I'll give if anyone, yeah, I'll go Bernardo. But if guys watched under 21 football, everyone hates youth. You would know Bernardo has been
He's
cold
been
from
cold
day
for a long
one.
time.
But it's a surprise to most man, innit? Because they don't watch under 21 football. So
Someone just scream at the TV said it.
Exactly.
Them ones there. It's all mad.
exactly.
It's because they don't win
That's how I
trophies.
go.
That's what they don't want to watch. You know, it is what it is, man. That's football at the top level, innit? And then they'll blame the manager, saying that the manager. Anyway,
What are we talking
Keep
about?
going
right
on,
now?
bro. Just move
We're
on.
saying what, Bernardo? What Bernardo? Yeah, Bernardo.
That's for me.
Bernardo.
Cool. Wingers.
There's only one man that could be.
You're a liar. There's not one
There's
man.
only
There's
one
more
man
than
it
one
could
man.
be.
There's more than one man. Who
Only
you
one
going
man.
for?
Of course
There's
it's
at least
Raheem
four.
Sterling. Of course it's Raz. Of course it's Razza. Come on, behave, man. What are you guys gonna tell me different?
Raz
Based
is
on
not
what
the
you
top
saw-
goal
I
scorer,
thought
but he's
he's
a
a-
top
I thought
assister,
he's a
but
forward
you-
as well.
he's
Based on
still-
based on your logic that Laporte deserves a shout out because compared to Van Dijk setup and whatnot, he has been able to do with what not that City's defense is rubbish.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you said,
yeah.
word for word. This is your verbatim. Surely then Hazard deserves this accolade because compared to the City and Chelsea squad, he has put up mad numbers compared to what Sterling's had to
No,
work with.
because I said Van Dijk's impact from last season is something that I think helps as well. Of what
His
people
case.
are
Talking about-
rating.
His case,
What
yeah.
we're talking about.
If you're comparing Hazard to Raheem Sterling right now, to this season, is that what you're doing?
I'm not. I'm saying you
Oh, okay,
Hazard had a
Hazard.
better season for me in terms of those numbers. Can you argue?
You lot just ignoring Salah.
I don't
But
count Salah
Salah's
as a
more
winger.
forward.
Now you. This is why I asked specifically. How
Has-
is
yeah.
Salah not a winger?
Where has Salah played?
Salah's a winger.
Salah.
course
When
Salah's
I
a
see
winger.
the team,
I don't count as a
Salah
winger.
is
Salah-
right wing.
Right wing, yeah.
I'm not counting as a winger in this.
Well, you know what?
I'm not counting as a winger in this. I'm
Well,
not counting as a winger in this.
You're,
He is
you're
a
making
winger.
up
But
your
he's-
own
he-
rules
So
there.
hold on, wait.
They
So wait.
He wants
Wait,
Hazard
wait,
to
wait,
win something.
wait.
right
Yeah.
now.
Well, I want Hazard to win something.
Hazard, you want Hazard to win
Wait, so
something.
you're telling me?
It's
Okay,
either
cool.
Salah or Sterling.
It's
It
Sterling.
ain't Hazard.
I'm going Hazard.
It ain't Hazard.
Okay, so you going for what? Salah.
I'm going Salah.
Okay.
Who you going for?
Salah.
It's Sterling. What are you man on about? Sterling
me tell you
finished
this.
second for the Player of the Year.
That's cool.
What are you man on
He'll finish
about?
second, and he'll finish second in the best winger here as well. But
I'll be
here's the
honest.
thing as well.
Somebody
I'll
that
be
wasn't
honest.
even
'Cause
nominated.
Salah-
I'll be honest.
Somebody that wasn't even
No, no,
nominated.
no, no. For me,
Salah
Salah
wasn't
still
nominated.
put up good assist numbers, and he's finished top goal scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hazard is
But it's
top
context,
assister.
everything, innit?
Hazard is the top assister in the Premier League. Still scored a high number of goals. Sterling is just in between those two. That's all it is.
But it's impact.
It's impact. I
it's
get
impact.
that, but you're
It's
also
true.
playing in the City team.
It's context.
So
It's
this
context.
is-
A lot of context. Are you
and
trying to
this-
say that?
you're
But
saying
you're kind of,
context.
you're
Okay,
kind of
cool.
in this. You kind of,
Context.
you man are trying to kind of say that.
No.
Overrated.
Let's break it
No,
down.
not
let's
even.
break
Not
it down.
even.
Let's
Good
break
year.
it. Why are you getting
Good year, but it's
insecure,
not
bro?
bad.
Hold on,
Are
hold
you
on.
Sterling?
Wait,
Is your
wait,
name
wait. We're
Raheem?
talking about the season, yeah. We're talking about the
This guy,
season.
bruv.
We're talking about the season.
Right.
Let's talk about the
Boy,
season.
right,
So Sterling
How was
scored a
you
lot of
playing you?
winners. Let's break it down. Sterling scored a lot of winners.
Raz.
Hazard carried his team.
Yeah.
Salah almost took his team to a title. So when you break down, because stats is not
So who
everything,
won the
of
league?
course. That's what I was about to go on to next. Sterling won the
Manchester
league.
City.
Manchester City won the league.
Who was crowned their best player?
Aguero.
But it wasn't though. But it wasn't though. The crown best player for City, the crown best player for City, the champions was Raheem Sterling, and you man are
Bernardo
throwing
Silva.
around Hazard. Like, come on, man. You man are just.
I'd
You
put
managed-
Salah ahead of him anyway. As the best
Same.
winger, if I had to pick one, the best winger this season, I'd pick Salah.
There's even a debate for Mane as well.
There is
There's
a
a
debate,
debate.
but I don't
There's a
think
big debate
Mane's
for Mane.
assist-wise, I don't think he's
Yeah,
been.
'cause
He's just been.
But the
goals,
thing is,
goals,
again,
goals,
it's
goals.
not just because I mean we all watch football. It's not just assists. Like what you're saying, if like without obviously Hazard had an amazing for him anyway. That's an amazing season. But yes, if you look at what Sterling did this year, like he kept going. But at the same time, Salah did exactly the same thing. When Salah was in a blip, right, came out the blip and was moving like a man that was possessed.
But we know that Salah should really put down more
But
stats.
the thing
Salah's
is-
game is
and
stats.
You're only
that
saying that
stuff-
because of last year, though.
Yeah, now
That's
he's become
one.
that guy
And
though.
two,
He's
again,
become
you
that
can't
guy.
do that because
He's-
we're talking about
he's also
in
had
terms
most
of
chances
the
as well.
38 games we watched. It's about now. It's not about what happened before.
Over the
that.
38 games, there's no way you can tell me Salah was better than Sterling.
I think it's tight.
No,
I think
no,
it's
no,
tight.
no, it's
Outside of
tight.
football stuff.
No, it's not tight.
That's very cheeky. That is very cheeky.
And then now what? So you're talking about so what, are we talking about the whole season as well, or we just?
We're talking about the Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League is Sterling. Outside the league is Sterling as well. Like I don't.
So
get
why
what
did you
get-
ask the question?
Because I was gonna give it even more. I was gonna give it even more juice. He scored the 2 yesterday. He scored the winner on the Carling Cup. Like you man are trying to disrespect Sterling right now. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. Honestly, you guys are crazy. It's the fact he just won the treble
Yo.
as City's best player.
It's
And you are
arguable.
telling
It's
me
arguable,
Hazard, who
but-
came fourth or third? Where did he come?
Sick.
Where did Hazard come?
Who?
Third. So where did Chelsea come? Third this season.
Yeah.
You came third.
All right, and you're telling me it's better than what? My man.
We're talking individuals,
Yeah.
man.
You know,
Why
the
do you
man
guys
them
always
say
bring
context.
I know.
The man them say context.
And it brings
yeah.
it brings a team into it.
It's not arguing every half the same context.
So the best player for the champions isn't the best winger in the league.
We're having a conversation about
Stop acting like the Man City are a one-man team, please.
Are they the champions? Yes or no?
Let's not.
Are they the
You're
champions, yes or
saying
no?
that as if they're a one-man team.
Are
and
they the
Sterling
champions?
dragged them.
Are they the champions?
No,
Yes or no?
relax. They are the champions. Yes.
And the best player was Raheem Sterling.
There was many
Let me
best
ask you a
players.
question.
The best
Let me
player
ask you
There
a
was
question.
many best
Let me ask you
players,
a
bro.
question. Who won your best player of the year this year?
I don't even
Luke
know.
Shaw.
Was
You
he your
know
best
who.
defender?
Probably was.
No, he wasn't.
Overweight Teddy.
Probably
Anyway,
was. He
I'll
won
rest my
by
case.
one vote over.
Oh, so now we're talking about counting votes. Get over it, man. Man's telling me
What
about
are you
counting
on
votes.
about?
And
this is
that's
some-
based on what?
You just said
That's based on
Poro's
what
best
opinions?
centre mid, but
You
Luke
man are
Shaw's
Man's
best.
talking about counting votes like it's some local election.
But
Please, let's stop.
You man are
Let's not
talking
do it.
about.
Let's
Wait.
not do it. Let's not do
Wait.
it.
No,
Let's not
that
do it.
doesn't make sense because
Let's not do it.
That
I'm
doesn't
just
make
giving you
sense.
context to what you
No,
said.
because you're
I'm giving
talking
you
about.
context to what you said.
Bro, you're talking
I'm giving you
about.
context to what you said.
Bro, you're talking about what the players voted in this little fucking. Oh, sorry, I don't even like that. You're talking about
Man,
what
them
the
get
players
tense
are
and
talking
they get
about.
hot on the collar and start swelling.
No, wait.
Go on.
Because you're talking about the players like the club one. That's not what I'm talking about. Raheem Sterling was second for the player of the year, the whole Premier League. So he is City's best player.
No, but you were talking about the one that he won
No,
for City.
I wasn't. I was talking about he's
get
been
around this,
crowned City's
Yeah,
best player. If
we'll
you're going to
get
be in the
around
player of the year
this.
thing, it's gonna be him. No,
Wait, hold on. What did he say earlier?
that's what I'm talking
No,
about.
what did he say verbatim earlier? Just so like verbatim, because you're gonna watch
Who
this
is
when-
crowned
'cause
City's
it's-
best player? If you're second in the player of the year, you know. That's what I'm saying. If you're crowned the second best player in the league, in the whole Premier League,
Yeah.
are you not City's best player?
If we're having a conversation, yeah,
That's not the conversation. The conversation is who's the best winger in the Premier League.
that's
Yeah,
number
exactly.
one.
That's it.
That's number one.
That's
Then
it.
number two, if you come and say who was crowned City's best player, right? What award are you supposed to be talking
I'm talking about-
crowned City's best player? That Manchester City said, listen, you are our best player.
And so
What's
you're
that? What award is that supposed to be?
Player of the
So you're
season.
saying okay.
So why are you telling me about the other thing, bro. And then coming back to it 5 minutes later.
Bro, what you're saying is
okay,
completely...
it's okay.
No, what
Next
you're
one,
saying,
next
what
one.
you're saying is
Next
wrong,
one.
bro. What you're
Next
saying
one.
is wrong. That doesn't
Let's
make
go to
sense.
the next one.
We're gonna re-go back to that.
Time's
What you're
going.
saying
Time's
doesn't
going.
make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make
The
sense.
visual
at
comes
all.
out on Tuesdays, maybe Wednesday.
It
You
doesn't make
will
sense
look at what
at
you
all
said.
what you just said, bro. It
No.
does not make sense what you just said.
We'll go back
It
to
doesn't
what you
make sense.
said.
All
We'll
right,
go
fair
back to what
enough,
you
we
said.
will. But that doesn't make
But-
sense.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That didn't make sense.
That's fine.
Next
fine.
one. Next one.
Say
Let's
no
go.
more.
Striker.
Aguero
Yeah, easy. That's not even a debate. What
scored the
hell?
clutch. Scored
Yeah,
clutch
yeah.
to come back to
I'd
win the
say
league.
I
think
think-
about the last maybe couple of games of the season where he'd quietened down a bit. I'd say maybe 2/3 of the season he would have been player of the season as well, contender. So
At the start, he was
Yeah.
doing bits.
doing crazy bits.
No. After that, back-to-back hat trick
Yeah.
against Arsenal and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Cooled
top
off a
six
little
teams.
bit after that, but
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say him hands down.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
honourable
and
mentions?
how he helps out with the team and like with the way they play as well, and that being that focus in the central positions as well helps. Like because like we've got Aubameyang.
So if
who's-
you ask Liverpool fans about that, they'll say that Bobby Firmino helps at the team. That's why he's not scoring goals. But Aguero's managing to
Aguero
help at
exactly.
the team
That's
and
it.
score goals.
That's it.
So I don't understand how that works. Aubameyang got joint top goal scorer.
He's a stat padder, man. I'm telling people.
What is a stat? Elaborate on what a stat padder is.
He just scores irrelevant goals. He scores goals that not in the big games. He doesn't really turn up.
But you said that about Salah.
But the difference with Salah. But the difference with Salah
Can you
is
say that
that
a bit louder, please?
Wait.
I might picked up what you
Because
said.
the difference with Salah is that Liverpool in them games, yeah, I've already said that he didn't score against the top six, but in them games like Southampton when they needed clutch, was it Crystal Palace or was it Bournemouth? I can't remember. Them important games, Newcastle, the title race was slipping. and
Against
Salah
Chelsea
was
as well.
Scoring. If you don't call that a big goal, then
No, I hear you.
that's it. But Aubameyang scoring some silly ass goals, like, oh
The
man,
fourth goal in a 4-1.
with his gold Lambo and his gold lubes, and I don't like Aubameyang's
His
not my type
haircut,
of player,
bruv.
man.
Please,
He's not my type
man.
of player at all.
Who's been better out of Aubameyang and Lacazette this season?
Lacazette for me.
Lacazette, man.
Lacazette
His
for
overall
me.
gameplay is
Wild,
just different. Yeah.
So what we're saying, goals in everything, no?
No.
Okay,
Goals
cool.
are important, obviously, but
Circle that back to the conversation. Anyway, let me not say too much. Manager of the year.
that's not actually obvious.
There's
That's actually
no,
obvious.
the thing is, it depends
Nuno.
on what you're looking for.
I'm going Nuno.
I'm going Pep.
Oh, Pep.
Fuck Pep. Sorry.
Why are you going Nuno? Why are you going Nuno?
I just think the way he's come up from the championship, I think playing good football, developed players, made good signings.
Going
But
to
they were
Europe.
champions.
and
They
then-
had
and
Champions
then-
League players in the championship.
I get that. But
So
he's
they
still,
should
he's still
be
got to be
pushing
able
more.
to do it. It's
If
like,
you look at the
if
squad,
you look at Fulham have spent 100 mil on players that have played in the Champions League here and there.
True.
They were a
but if you
mishmash
look
of
at
dog
Wolves'
shit.
squad, like 11, and compare it to all them teams in the league, they will probably come out with around less.
But
That,
I
where
don't-
they
I don't- put it
finished
this way,
is where their
start
squad
of the
kind
season, though, I don't think anyone would have said they'd be 7th guaranteed or whatever. You would have said 10th.
What you have to
11th,
take
whatever.
into
But
account
he's been
is-
consistent, and for me, the pinnacle of it is every big team he's played, he's
Smacks
pulled up
them up.
results against them.
Smacks
So
them up.
it's like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
coach
fair
enough.
there,
Yeah, fair enough,
and
yeah.
for me, I think he
What you have to
deserves
give it
credit for
credit
that.
to as well is that a lot of, like, if you look at his Connor Cody's and some of these players in there, they're not the
Doherty
caliber of,
and-
they're not the
yeah.
caliber of, player that people.
Cody was the next
Say.
Gerrard, you know.
Who
He was the next Gerrard.
says who?
Code. That's what he was called when he came
When
through
he
their
was in
Liverpool
academy, that's what they're
academy.
calling him.
He was centre mid. He was called the next Gerrard, and now
That's what
he's
they called him.
Wolves captain. I'm happy for him. He's like shaped
I'm sure
his
they
career.
said
Went
lovely
to
thing about
Sheffield
Jay
United.
Spearing as well,
Bro.
but that's soccer.
Bruv.
I think
Man has seen for me Pep like back to back won something that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Something that hasn't been done.
with Guardiola, if we're talking
This guy
this
wants me
season,
to say Poch.
14.
That's right. He wants me to say
14,
Poch.
14 wins on the bounce to
He's
win the
working out
title.
now. He's working out now. I said, "Watch, working out."
14 wins on the bounce to win the title is impressive. But on the Nuno point, I mean, looking at just this season, he's one of a few teams or managers that had a philosophy and carried it out all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I've got to give. That's an honourable mention, but you can't take away the fact that a man was second for a while and said, "Listen, we're not dropping any points." Came back and won the league, and it was that relentless. It was, you can't. Yes, the players play a major part in that, but the manager puts everything together. You can't bring on Mahrez to score clutch goals in the final game. That, man, you can't. The guy's immense, man. You can't.
But it would have just been a bit silly, man. Like
Klopp now?
Salah won Player of the Year last year. De
Yeah.
Bruyne didn't win it. Van Dijk won it this year. Sterling didn't win it. and then what? They would have given someone else. Like, when are you guys gonna actually crown the champions or something?
No, but this is the thing.
Can we at least
and
congratulate?
I think I mentioned it before.
Champions.
Every time that City have won the Premier League, none of their players has ever won Player of the Year. It's because of how the seasons broke down, and someone else is elsewhere just doing the madness. That's
It's the
how
management
football
of
is.
it. You know, the game management, season management of the
if
course of
anything,
the year.
that shows you how much of a team they are. That
Exactly.
Someone doesn't stand out and just kind of do mad stuff. Who would we say the young player of the year is? Just for context, we're not doing this all 23, 24, so you can't vote for Sterling. It's got to be someone that's genuinely young.
Trent for me.
Yeah, that's what I said.
For me, it's a no-brainer.
It's summed up in the Champions League semi-final.
Trent is
he's above his years.
From like
18?
the way he
In terms
plays,
of
the way he plays, like, and his technique. I know he was originally a centre midfielder. That's why he probably got silly texts like that. But
It's
this
not
guy is
fair.
spraying
It's not
spraying
fair.
balls across the park
not
from
fair.
right back.
The
He's
maturity
getting the
he's shown,
assists.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
fair.
once he's a good defender, but once he like proper puts in the hours on them and defensively, he's gonna be ridiculous.
We say this though, but I mean, Marcelo,
Yeah, but Ashley Cole
Daniel Alves,
grew defensively. Like,
yeah, he's
a lot.
ultimately he's gonna. I'll say, if anything, he's gonna mature, and it depends on what system
Yeah.
he plays in. But in this system now,
it's perfect for him.
yeah, he's cool. Honorable mentions:
Declan Rice,
Maddison.
Wan-Bissaka, and I'll say
Well, you got to mention Mane as well.
Yeah, Declan Rice and Wan-Bissaka for me. The next two.
Who?
Mane.
Mane, young player, yeah.
I don't know. I thought you said honorable mentions. No. I thought general players for, bruv. You mentioned honorable mentions for the season. That player. That's what I got from that. Bruv.
Man out here saying Mane is 20 years old.
No. I thought you mentioned.
He gets a little goal line. He's a young boy.
Passport.
Out here
He's a young
saying,
boy. Oh my
Said-
word.
Man said Mane,
I
young
thought
boy.
honorable
No,
mentions for.
I hate you, bro.
this guy's in another planet right now.
I'd say Wan-Bissaka and
Yeah,
Declan Rice.
100%.
Yeah, Declan Rice. Of course.
Rich managers.
This guy is fried.
Rich managers are probably under the most pressure next year.
There's three, I would say.
I would agree, but I don't know if you've got the same three.
Poch and Ollie.
Ollie's always going to be
Yeah,
obviously.
in that order as well.
Well, I've got four. I would add Sarri to that as well if he's still
Sarri's
there.
getting sacked. Allegri's coming in too. Don't worry.
I think whoever loses the Champions League final out of them two, I feel like now not the standard, but the expectation. As much as we know Poch is overachieving, as much as we know Klopp is doing great,
We need to see something.
it's good now
We need
that
to
you've
see
got to a
something.
final, Champions League final. It's gonna be like, all right, what
What are
next
you gonna do
season?
from
Yeah,
here?
The word
if Klopp
potential has run
Klopp
out.
loses
Yeah.
and still hasn't won nothing at Liverpool,
Yeah.
and if Poch loses and still hasn't won anything in his career, it's
Yeah.
gonna start being like,
Question be asked.
With
Yeah.
Poch
Pressure,
this summer,
you know what I mean?
regardless, he's going to get finally a budget to spend. So we have to see what
I'm
he does with
I'm
that.
surprised
and then
you're
B, how he kicks
pushing
on from the
that
Champions
out.
League final. And then-
I'm really surprised you're pushing it out
Don't
because
matter,
based on
I'm objective. I'm real.
no, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
it's-
in the terms of because what I don't want is you're saying that and then if it doesn't go well, you'll be like compared to what everyone else had to spend, he didn't have enough.
If that happens, that happens.
This
We'll
guy,
get to that
you're
bridge when we get
shameless.
there. Get to that bridge when we
if
get to it.
if Sarri's
for
still
now-
in employment, I reckon he's under pressure.
Ole obviously is under a lot of pressure. but-
Hell, he's under hellfire.
But the thing is, I feel like
Especially the way he
Man said
came
the
in as
shape
well.
pan is behind him.
I,
bruv. He's in trouble.
I don't know how
He's
much
in trouble.
I don't know how much pressure he is from our board. That's the thing. I don't know. I'm
He's
torn.
got-
One
got Daddy's
second-
pat behind him.
One second, I'm keep thinking like if we start bad, he'll get sacked. But then at the same time, I'm thinking I feel like they might just
It
try and
depends on
do
the-
this whole united front. Like we're not
Yeah.
going to sack him.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
It depends on the results and that.
We've spoken before because, like, again, not to go too much into it, but we've spoken before. We've got to give him time now. We've been being pragmatic for how he
Yeah,
But
manages.
if you
now.
start the season losing to Cardiff's and Hulls,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm sorry, that ain't gonna.
He said Hull as well. He said Hull.
Fuck me.
They don't play in the.
Who's another United legend that just in case Oli gets fired that you bring in for the United way kind of shazaz?
Wait,
Roy
if
Keane?
Ole goes, we're bringing Lampard
What,
and
Roy
Jody
Keane?
Morris.
You need to relax, bro.
We're bringing
You
your
need to
legends.
stop. You
We're
need to
bringing
stop
your
twerking,
legends.
bro.
We're bringing your legends.
You're moving at some
We're bringing them.
bad B, bro. You
Wait,
need to
that's what I'm
relax.
With Mourinho.
Yeah.
You need to relax
Jody and
with
Morris,
your
you
long
know?
staff rumors. You need to relax, man. Focus on your squad.
Jody and Lamps. Looking forward to that
But
one.
yeah, man,
And then that was the last
that's
one?
the
innit?
last one, man.
That's it.
Nah,
Man.
who needs to rise next season? One player.
Yes, actually, who needs to
Oh.
rise?
For me,
My money's on Rashford.
Who's yours?
My
Rashford.
money's on Rashford. The reason why I say it is because not that there's any agenda, but
There
if
is an
we
agenda, but-
let's talk. We're here to discuss. If Lukaku is to get sold, who would be your striker?
It depends. We have to see at the end of the window, though, innit?
Exactly, but who is still gonna? I don't think Rashford is gonna leave. I don't think Sanchez is gonna be around. I think Rashford is still gonna be there. He was an integral part before the injuries and niggles. I feel that based on his trajectory, he's done really well. If you think about it, when he came, he done really well. This season tapered off a little bit, but if he's gonna be the main man at Manchester United, bear in mind that it's a rebuild and you're trying to come back. That is a lot of pressure on him. How old is he?
21.
And he could potentially be leading the line for Manchester United.
Number 10 shirt.
Roy Keane says he's out here.
Don't even say that.
Don't even do that.
Don't even say
Read
that.
it.
Don't even say that.
Read it.
You guys think that's a real quote?
Come on, I don't care if it's real or fake. Read it.
I don't know if you
care.
guys say that
Here
quote
goes.
still.
You look at Matthias de Ligt, he's captain at Ajax at 19 years old, earning a modest wage. Meanwhile, Rashford is scoring 10 goals a season, killing disabled fans in wheelchairs.
That's bad, man. Still.
Earning
That's bad, man.
100k.
That's bad,
Killing
man.
disabled fans.
That's bad, man.
That's
Still.
bad, man.
But he didn't say that. Obviously,
Shooting boots on.
obviously he didn't say that.
But I'd
But
say Martial's on the same.
I was just gonna say.
Martial,
I don't know.
it's 100% Martial.
No, the reason why- the reason-
fluctuating fee is
Yeah.
that needs to come true.
It's
now.
100%
The
Martial.
reason why I said
Capitalize on.
Rashford is because I don't know if Martial is going to be there.
Nah, he is. We just gave
No,
him
he's
250.
gonna
just
be,
signed a
Yeah,
250k.
but at the end of the day, like in terms of he could be there, but he may not feature. Like you can be on the books.
That's what I'm saying. He needs to find a way to
Yeah.
step up.
Martial has to.
That
This
is on him.
This is going on to be Martial's, I think, fifth
Fourth
season.
season.
Yeah.
Fifth season.
Just LVG.
He
that's it.
Why
has
is he
to
United
start.
player?
He has to produce. But it's because everyone loves
Yeah,
United. Everyone wants to
Yeah.
talk about
Is
United.
there anyone outside of United that needs to rise next?
Jorginho, 50 million for that. No, next season we need to see more. Real talk.
Yeah, fair enough. Especially if
Nah.
Sarri gets his players.
Yeah.
So
Nah.
fair enough.
I don't think.
And what's his name? That superstar signing from Dortmund, Pulisic.
I was gonna say
Ooh.
Pulisic.
That
it's
superstar with
his debut
with
season.
15
I'll
goals
give
and
him-
18
The
assists.
reason why, again,
debut season.
no, Pulisic. The reason why I would have said Pulisic is because if you've got
He's gonna take
Hudson
Hudson-Odoi
Odoi that said that
place.
he wanted to play and whatnot, you've got a Hazard that's probably leaving. You've got agent William and Pedro. You're coming in with a big fee, and you were loaned out to come back
Inflation
again.
though, inflation.
American coming in.
Another
50
player.
mil.
Another player you could mention is Naby Keita as well. You know, when he came in, new Steven
That's a good
Gerrard
shot.
was
I don't
like-
think he'll have pressure, but I think that he is someone
Yeah,
that
I
has
don't think I have
before.
pressure. I don't
But
think I have
He
pressure.
needs to now. you
But
know.
Pulisic, he's coming in as Hazard's like
Replacement. Think about it.
and he scored 15 goals, 18 assists in 117 games. Is it? So,
Something like
boy,
that, yeah. So I think
amazing
there is
stats.
going to be
Dog
pressure on
shit.
him.
amazing
What's-
stats. Didn't Jadon Sancho get that about this season already? 13 goals, 16 assists.
How many games has Longstaff played for Newcastle this year?
Have we signed him? Have we
Are
signed him?
you in talks with him?
No, we're not in talks with him. We're not in
what's
talks
his-
with him.
Tom Jones. How many games has Tom Jones played right wing for?
Who's Tom Jones?
No,
That
who's
sounds
that?
like- that sounds like-
Who's Tom Jones?
That's a
Who's
singer.
that guy,
That's a
bro?
singer, bro.
Yeah,
This
it's bullshit.
guy's
Tom
talking about-
Jones.
This guy's
How many games has Tom Jones?
This guy's watching The Voice.
singers.
This
How many
guy's
games has
watching
Tom
The
Jones?
Voice.
These
Welsh
guys can't
singers.
sign